Bransfield.
Hey, it's story time with Bransfield. Indulge me, it's my birthday month. Perfect Dark is most likely my favourite Nintendo 64 game. I owned it for years. I bought the RAM expansion pack specifically for it. My friends and I played Perfect Dark's multiplayer intensely. Before that RAM pack was bought, I played the challenge mode against bots a hell of a lot, to the point I think I have more memories of that than I do the actual campaign. To me, Perfect Dark is a significantly better game than GoldenEye 007. It looks better, it's a more refined Rare team on development duties, it pushes the N64 harder, it has a lot more in general going on in it. It's only really let down by that lack of Bond license. And an alien sidekick. But as a multiplayer game, as far as I'm concerned, PD wipes the floor with 4-player oddjobbery. The fact Perfect Dark doesn't get the kudos it deserves in the popular sphere is, at best, a mass collective oversight on the part of gamers, TM. So yeah, Perfect Dark, phenomenal game, still good fun to go back to, and, as of June 2024, even more easy to go back to as it was added to the Nintendo Online subscription. Or there's the HD remaster on your Xbox consoles. Or you can be a buffoon like me and be determined to play it on the original hardware even if you can't actually find the cartridge for the game you know you have somewhere. EverDrive to the rescue and all that. Regardless of how you go about doing it, it's still wonderful to play today. I won't ignore the period of adjustment required to switch your brain firmly into the "this is the point in time when devs didn't really know quite how to get FPS controls implemented properly on a joypad" mode, but once that's clicked into place, the whole thing is just great. Perfect Dark is varied and creative, there's always a new challenge around the corner, and the sheer amount of stuff packed away in hidden compartments on the game's cartridge means you struggle to run out of trinkets to pick up and add to the experience. And obviously multiplayer never gets old, even if these days, as I apparently have to keep pointing out, I don't have access to what you would call friends for a bit of classic 4-player fun. But I know it would still slap. Do people still say slap? Anyway, all of this, all these words and thoughts, all this strong emotional attachment to a game I owned. But I never actually bought Perfect Dark. Because here's where the story swerves into something I personally associate very closely with Rare's best shooter, but something nobody else in their right mind would compare, contrast, or even consider in the same thought sentence. Bishi Bashi. More specifically, Bishi Bashi Special on the original PlayStation, itself a port of a few earlier Japan-only releases, themselves ports of arcade original versions of the games what was on them discs. Bishi Bashi Special was a revelation for me as a young'un. It was multiplayer, so I could involve the friends I actually had back then. It was simple enough that anyone could understand it after not very long at all. The mini-games or micro-games within were usually over so quickly it didn't matter if you lost or weren't good at them, you could just move on to the next one. And most importantly, it was absolutely my kind of wacky. That sort of Japanese TV style of mania I'd only heard about back in the 90s was presented here in all its button-smashing, burger-building, Uncle Beaning glory. I know I'm not the only one who still says "winner" on a near-daily basis. The more well-known comparison to make would be the WarioWare series, which, while it originated from Mario artist Polygon Studio on the N64’s 64DD disc add-on, clearly took inspiration from Bishi Bashi's approach of screw it, be silly. The brevity, the levity, the multiplayer evity, it all matches, and this isn't shade at all because both Nintendo and Konami's micro-mini game em-ups are fantastic, and I love them dearly. I just wanted a point of comparison here. Bishi Bashi would have you smashing buttons to pop out as many mechanical pencil leads as possible in a few seconds. It would have you lobbing pies at a wedding congregation in a way too quickly over for me approximation of track and field. It would have Uncle Bean, who I assume is the reason for my obsession with beans being funny to this day. It would smack you upside the head with its zaniness, but never dwell on it too much to really make that part of its personality overbearing or tiresome. It would make you laugh, it would annoy you when you failed, it would provide a genuinely brilliant time for, as Wikipedia informs me, up to 7 other people alongside you. It was the prototypical party game of microgames, that purest form of distilled joy, free of pretense and bereft of unnecessary things like depth or a plot. Bishi Bashi Special was as its name so boldly claims, special. So yeah, that's all well and good, but what does this have to do with Perfect Dark? A fair question, and again I thank you for letting me delve into my brain history for this one rather than a more formal public record. The Bishi Bashi Perfect Dark connection is such a strong one for me thanks to another part of my own history, though this one shared by a fair few other folks, Special Reserve. A membership-based mail-order gaming shop, Special Reserve was everywhere in the 90s and early noughties. You'd struggle to get through an issue of any gaming magazine in the UK without seeing a spread touting the latest and greatest wares, alongside oh so wonderful lists of every game they had available on specific formats. This store provided a lot of my adolescent gaming memories, including the time they rooted about in the warehouse and found the only copy they had left of UFO Enemy Unknown for the Amiga 500 for me. But that's a digression I for once won't go into. So, as time went on, Special Reserve tried to keep up with time. This meant branching out to other things beyond the brick-and-mortar shop and endless magazine adverts. This meant things like websites. This meant trying to keep a focus on the brand in order to keep it relevant in a wildly changing retail landscape. This meant user interaction, promotional pushes, and competitions. This meant Game a Day. Game a Day was a simple premise. Each day, staff at Special Reserve would choose a recently submitted user review as the best. If you were the winner, you were able to select any game from the shop as your prize. 17-year-old Bransfield thought he'd throw one out there. A brief statement on the unheralded quality of Bishi Bashi Special, a game he was playing the hell out of around this time in August of Space Year 2000. Honestly, all things considered, it's not even an embarrassing review. I'll just read it here. I have played funny games in my time, Monkey Island 1, 2 and 3, Carmageddon, San Francisco Rush, humorously bad, but never have I played a game that has actually made tears stream down my face. Until now. Bishi Bashi Special is the worst looking, most immature, unfulfilling and downright stupid game I've ever played in my life. Bishi Bashi Special is also the best game I have ever played in my life. Each one of the insane mini-games which make up the whole package are individually brilliant in their own ways. My personal favourite being Perm Mania, a Simon Says style game where you press the X button in the rhythm given to you by the dancing instructor, get it correct, and what do you get? A championship cup? A secret character? Nope, you get a bigger perm. This game is absolutely brilliant, and if you don't buy it, you're missing out. 9 out of 10. That impactful, concise, Pulitzer-worthy mote of critical analysis was picked as the day's best. I'd won. I very quickly chose the game I was craving most at the time, Perfect Dark. What should have been 60 or 70 quid was suddenly not. All I had to do was buy a RAM expansion module, which, as I mentioned, did take me a while, but it made everything that much more manageable. Who doesn't like free stuff? But beyond simply winning a prize and bagging a game I really wanted, this experience marked the first time I was ever rewarded for something I'd written about video games. I've mentioned before in some of my videos, though not in great detail, and some of you may know anyway, but I was a games journalist as an amateur and as my main profession for pushing 20 years, and I still work in the games industry today. I don't think it's too wild a claim to say that my Bishi Bashi Special review, while it didn't get the wheels moving, they were already on the go, did up the gears a bit for me in the chosen profession regard. Had this review not been chosen, there's every chance I wouldn't have found the confidence boost I needed, that of some random stranger saying, hey, this is good, have a prize, to continue down the path towards games journalisming. Alright, it still took me another 9 years to get into that gig on a full-time professional basis, but I can't discount the impact One a Day, Special Reserve, Perfect Dark and Bishi Bashi Special had on my career path and, thusly, my entire life so far. That's a bit grandiose, right? Maybe. I do think it's true, though. The Bishi Bashi Perfect Dark connection isn't just a fun, peculiar memory for me, it's a formative experience and a building block in the Bransfield story. The links we have in our brains, those personal stories of gaming history, are always important. This one is particularly important to me and my eventual career path, as well as the fact that it saved me 70 quid or whatever Perfect Dark would have cost. That public history, the stories of Sony and Nintendo breaking up resulting in the PlayStation, of a bunch of nerds at Microsoft shooting off to form their own upstart that would never find success, it was Valve. of Sega's console death and rebirth as a Sonic and Football Manager studio. That's all important, it matters, and it's what's discussed often. But it's those personal memories that truly link us to gaming, that turn us from mere fans or consumers into committed obsessives who are often a bit too weird about it online. Without those memories, this would all just be a bunch of stuff, often corporate nonsense, happening to other people. But with these links, with these ties, we're able to make the daft world of video games resonate that much more on a human level. So don't forget those memories, yeah? Cherish them, make more of them, share them with others. One day I'll tell you about the time I sold my son. That's another fun little Bransfield story time. Maybe next year's birthday month when I can indulge myself again. For now though, it's just a thanks for watching from me if you've managed to watch this far. I fully expect this video to get next to no views, but really, if I was in it for the fame, I wouldn't be making stuff like this, would I? And end the introspection. Support me on Patreon or YouTube memberships. Here are my friends. I'm off to wonder aloud at how I ever managed to control Perfect Dark well enough to succeed at those bot challenges with such an obscene controller. Bye!